Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Oaxaca series, Playa Azul. I was out with Alfredo the day before we went to the Playa Azul, and he was telling me about the beautiful beaches in Oaxaca. And I told him I would love to go. So he said, let's go this weekend. It'll be a great occasion to celebrate my anniversary with my wife. So we all piled in the car and drove basically directly south, as you can see on the map, to the Playa Azul. When we got there, I was a little puzzled not to see any blankets on the beach, and I thought, where is everybody putting all of their swimming gear? Well, the family told me the tradition when you get to the beach is to, before you do anything, before you swim, before you play any games, is you eat at the restaurant. But the family didn't tell this to me right away, and they knew I really wanted to swim, so they said, yeah, go ahead and put your things down at the table here and go head off for a swim. And as you can see in the photo here, the beautiful mountain in the distance, my goal was to swim most of the length all the way there. So, not wasting any time because it was a super hot day, probably about 90 degrees, I ran through the sand, and you can see all the other footprints there too, and made my way and jumped into the ocean. And it was a very, very calm day, and I really enjoyed my swim. I made it about halfway before I decided to get out and walk the rest of the way to the mountain. As you can see in this picture, the tracks of the tractor, and because the beach was so big, there are quite a few vehicles on the sand, which I'm not used to seeing at lake beaches where I'm from. And on windier days, there are surfers out, as you can see in this picture. It was a pretty calm day when I was swimming. There were just some really big, large waves that were kind of fun to float over, but nothing too ferocious. After I made it to the mountain, I started to walk back through the sand. And you can see the more tracks there. And when I made it back, I scoped out the area around the restaurant and thought, hey, this is a nice open area. Maybe we could play some frisbee. And I had brought my frisbee and invited Efra and his brother Roberto to come and play frisbee with me. And it was great fun, really fun playing in the sand there. You can see some of the vegetation there was a little bit spiky, so we had to be careful with our feet. I walked around really carefully in the sand and found this gorgeous pattern. Look at that. And here's a quick view of some of the other buildings around the beach. Some were restaurants and some were just little shacks. And finally finished off the day in the reverse order by going to the restaurant. And everybody was waiting there, and actually it had taken a while for the food to come because it was so busy. So I arrived just in time, and you can check out the menu here. We actually had fresh Sierra fish, and it was a beautiful occasion to celebrate the anniversary of Alfredo, you can see on the right, with his wife Maria and their children, all there at the table.